Hello everyone, welcome to Martech QA. I am Siddharth and today we are going to discuss about fundamentals of software testing. This topic is about fundamentals and very important prime points that are there in software testing. So you should watch this video till end so that you do not miss any of those points, because for freshers these are very important points, and also those who are experienced, they need to keep these points in their mind so that they do not miss whenever an interviewer asks from them. So nothing more is there. So as we are going to discuss, so before we start, don't forget to subscribe the learning that we are having. So without wasting any minute, let's get started with the first question, that is, what is software testing? So as we go further, here are some points for software testing. The first one is, software testing is an activity to detect bugs or issues. You can call it a bug or issue. It is like, you can say, if there is a problem that has occurred with software and it is not according to the functionality of the software, so it is a bug or it is an issue. By checking actual result and matching it with expected result to make software product defect free. Software testing does not assure that product is defect free. It is also verification of application under test. Testing can be performed manually or by automation tools. So most probably when you are a fresher, you have to know the manual concepts to test the software, and then as you go and you gain experience, you will be using automation tools, where automation tools are basically used to save time and efforts of the manual testing, because uh, like sometimes human errors are there and automation methods do not make any error. So basically these are things that are performed by automation softwares that are available in the market. So these are the points that we have to discuss. There are three basic types of testing types that are there, that is black box testing, white box testing, and gray box testing. Coming on to the difference between black box and white box. Black box testing objective is to test the functionality or behavior of the application. White box testing objective is to test the infrastructure of the application. All possible inputs cannot be covered in black box testing. Each path can be tested thoroughly in white box testing. Testing can be done without any coding knowledge in black box testing. Testing requires knowledge of internal structure and coding. Testing performed after requirement specification document is for black box testing. Testing performed after detailed design document is, as you can see, is in white box testing. Boundary value analysis, equivalence partition, error guessing are the techniques that are used in black box testing. Conditional testing, data flow testing, loop testing, these are techniques of white box testing. It is tough to automate black box testing. Testing are programmer dependent. That's why that is tough. It is easy to automate white box testing. Coming on to the levels of testing, that are unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. So this is the flow of testing. First of all, the upper one will be done and the lower will be done in the end. So it goes like this. Coming on to the next point, that is, what is unit testing? So these are some points when we like go through unit testing. So these are the points that we remember when we are doing it. You should remember these points, that check code before pushing it, so it is the part of unit testing. Review of code, execution of classes and methods, and unit testing helps in code coverage. Coming on to some more detailed points, that is, first one, it is a level of testing where individual units, components of software are tested. Each unit of software is validated Unit is considered as the smallest testable element of software. Individual program, function, procedure, etc. can be units of procedural programming. Whereas in OOPS, object oriented programming, smallest unit can be a method which may belong to a base or superclass, abstract class or derived class. Derived class can also be called as the child class. So, as you might have done programming in OOPS, so you might be aware of these concepts or these terms that are there. What is a superclass? What is an abstract class? What is a derived class? So, you might be knowing. So, these are also the parts of unit testing. Unit testing points continued. It is done using tools or framework for particular programming language. Development environment and test environment should be different. As meaning development environment and test environment. Test environment is the environment where like we used to test. So suppose there are two different servers or two different machines on which we have to perform testing in suppose web applications. So both configurations of the system should be same, like it should be having 8 GB RAM and the other system should be also having 8 GB RAM. That is the testing one, and the development both should have 8 GB RAM. Both should have same version of Chrome browser or Mozilla Firefox browser. Both should have same type of you can say memory and the internet service that is there. So these are the things which are required as in comparison of environment. So as I was talking about the environment, these are the local environments. So coming on to the server environments. So suppose you are testing it on AWS. AWS is the outer platform on which we have our website or hosting that has been done. So all both the environment should be same. Coming on to the next point, that is test data should be similar to production data. Same thing with the earlier point as we have discussed, like test data should be equal to production data or live data. Production data is that is going to be used when the launching of the application will be done to the outer world or to the market. So all the things that has been tested or that will be tested is or should be according to, so both the data should be equal. Like suppose if you are using one to test, so in that sense it should be like answerable or should be executable in production environment as well. So both the data should be same. Coming on to the next point, that is focuses on impact or behavior of the system. Then coming on to the integration testing, it is the second level of testing. Software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group. Integration testing is termed as thread testing and or you can say string testing. Testing of communication between two or more units is in integration testing. Test case in integration testing focuses mainly on the interfaces and flow of information, or flow of information you can say consider it as a data. So data information, so as you know that raw facts or figures, it is data, then it becomes information. So these are the things which are required. Coming on to some more points of integration testing. Testing is performed on individual structure and by performed programmers. So it is performed by programmers. There is a mistake over here. By performed programmers is wrongly written. It is performed by programmers and individual structures are used. Integration testing is necessary because one module can have effects on another module. Interfacing errors are detected in integration testing. So these are some of the approaches of integration testing, that is top down, bottom up, big bang or sandwich testing. That is the first approach we have is top down approach. In top-down approach, testing starts with high-level system at top level and integrates from top by replacing individual components by stubs. Main control modules which integrates is called drivers, and individual components that are replaced are called stubs. The next point, that is after tests are conducted, stubs are replaced by individual modules. Top down approach is easier to implement for testing than bottom up approach. Coming on to the bottom approach, that is approach is to test lowest level element and then after facilitate the highest level element or component, you can say. Fault localization is easier in bottom up approach. Time is utilized because it is not required to wait for all modules to be developed. Critical modules are tested later, which may be prone to defects. Coming on to the next point, that is Big Bang approach. Components are integrated and then tested. Type of approach convenient for small systems. Fault localization is difficult. Presupposes simultaneous checking of all system components. Coming on to the next level of testing, that is system testing. System testing is a form of testing conducted on completely integrated system or software to validate specified requirements. Specifications are checked to validate end-to-end compliance of software. So in this type of testing, you don't need to go into very internal thing of the software. You just need to give the input and you just need to see the output of the program, or you can say the application. Testing conducted on whole system by referring either functional requirements or system requirements or both sometimes. So you need both these information to do the system testing. System testing is performed by independent test team that helps to test the quality of system impartially. So here is the process as it goes. First of all, the test environment setup is there, then the test case preparation, then the test data is prepared, then after things are there, then there will be an input, that is test case execution. After it, there will be defect reporting, there will be bugs, defects that will come in the process. Then the regression testing will be performed, then logging of defects will be done. After it, in the end, retesting will be performed when the fixing will be, or the fixing has been done by the developer. So you will receive a build and then the retesting will be performed. Retesting, you might know or you must know, like it is a type of testing which is done on the bugs that has already been like reported by the tester or the independent testing. So it is the once more testing done by the developer, or you can say the tester. It depends upon what type of organization we are in very small organization, the only developer does it, but as we are software testers, so retesting is done by the testing team or the independent testing team. So coming on to the next, that is types of system testing. Basically, performance testing is one of the performance testing that is falls in the category. In performance testing, there are the types of testing, that is load testing, stress testing, spike testing, volume testing. Also, there are some more points that are there. So these were the like points which are there in performance testing are 4 points. That then performance testing is different and security testing is different. Recovery testing comes, then usability testing and the regression testing. So these are all the types of testing. Whoever asks you, you can say that these are types of system testing. Coming on to the next point, that is acceptance testing. This is the last but not the least point that is very much required for testing. So coming on to the point, that is, this type of testing is performed to determine whether the software meets the requirement specification. Systems compliance is evaluated with the business requirement. Verification of the end user requirement criteria is done. Here are the forms of acceptance testing: user acceptance testing, business acceptance testing, alpha testing, beta testing. So many of you have heard, or you might have heard about these topics that are there: alpha testing, beta testing. So alpha testing is performed by the development team or the testing team, and the beta testing is done on client end or the UAT people, those who are doing it. So first point, that is, what are the types of acceptance testing? Alpha testing, beta testing, user acceptance testing, and business requirement testing. So as we have already discussed in the previous slide, now these are the points that we are going to discuss in detail. Coming on to the user acceptance testing. UAT is performed on customer's end to validate the requirements. UAT is also known as beta testing, performed when unit testing, integration testing, and regression testing, also system testing, are over. Customers and testing team or select end users are involved in such kind of testing. After finishing, UAT feedback is received from customers end whether software product is ready to for live environment or not. So UAT feedback is given by the customer. So if he will say yes, that it is good for live environment, then you can upload that build on live server or the production server. If he says no, that there are some bugs or there are some changes that are required, that will be fixed by the team, and then the test team will perform all those things, testings, and then testing team will give the sign off, and then they will give it to UAT team, that is there on client's end, and then he approves it. So after it will be going to the live server. Next, that is alpha testing. Alpha testing is performed to identify all possible issues, bugs before releasing the software application product to user or customers. Black box testing and white box testing techniques are used to simulate real users. Tasks are performed as a typical user carried out in environment, that is the server space. Testers are internal employees of the organization. It is called alpha testing because it is done earlier on, near the end of the development of the software, before beta testing. Coming on to the beta testing, that is first point, that is it is performed by real users of the software application in real environment or live environment. It can be considered as a form of external user acceptance testing. Beta version of the software is released to limited number of end users of the product to obtain feedback on the quality of the product. Feedback taken from customer and end users, you can say it customer or end users, creates a qualitative analysis which increases quality of the product through a customer validation. Shipping a product to the customer becomes easy and has better ROI. ROI, that is the return of investment. Suppose there is an application, if you are if a client or you are the client or stakeholder, so you are making a product or you are like giving it to some other team or some other organization to make it, so you need a proper profit from it, so that is ROI, return on investment. Coming on to the usability testing, that is the part of acceptance testing. So It evaluates that software application is easy to use by users, minimizes the risk of the product failing. Conducted repeatedly from early development until a product's release is done. Exploratory testing is often performed to decrease the complexity of the software product. Usability testing is usually in the initial phases of product development to recognize expectation of user or customer. So thank you so much guys. I hope you like all the points and you will learn these points again and again so that you never miss any point if an interviewer asks. So if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.